So here we have 3D Max 2015 version, and now I'm going to link my file. So you go first to 3D Max, then you choose import, and you choose link Revit file, and from here you can go to your file location where you're choosing it, and gonna choose that, and I'm gonna link the file. Now it's gonna take some time to link it. Okay, I'm gonna choose 3D as the camera view, and there is something which you're supposed to do before linking the file. Actually, you're supposed to, but for me I've already set it out. But before linking the file, make sure that under the Customize tab you've already set the units in the exact value which you worked it with within a Revit architecture model. So after this, before you export it, in most of the cases you'll find this option is within the combined by Revit material. So first choose do not combine entities, so that everything comes individually, and then you go to presents, then you choose that my present is do not combine entities again, and you can modify the settings here. And a good thing about this is that in modification settings that you can choose what kind of the elements you want them to come in within with the Revit model file. So for instance, you can say, okay, I don't want lights, I don't want daylight system, I don't want cameras to come with. But for a beginner, I think it's better to just leave these options on, so that you don't have to hassle so much in 3D Max to set the daylight, to set the lights, and so forth. And also the down tab is also very important, the materials one. This one will make sure that the information about materials is transferred within Revit model within Revit 3D Max. So after this, you just click save and click attach, and it's going to take some few seconds or minutes depending on the amount of the power of your computer, of course. And then there is this pop window which will ask you that you're creating a daylight system. Now this comes because actually in Revit you're using Mentoray, and the basic or default rendering engine in 3D Max, the powerful rendering engine actually is a Mentoray rendering engine. So at first when you import your Revit model, it's going to switch to a Mentoray directly. So if you're using Mentoray, then it's better to click yes, because you need this photographic exposure control to make sure that the amount of light does not affect the image which you're trying to render, or it affects in a proper way. So for me, I'll click yes, and from there it will also take a few seconds to load, and here we are. So this is the model. So let's see it in 3D perspective, and you'll see that immediately after importing it, there is a difference in colors. Actually, in reality, it's that the material is already here, the information about material is already here, and the materials are already being linked, but it's just we need to reveal them. They're already here, and you can choose you can first go to references and asset tracking. This is a very important category, and for now, because we are using we have imported a Revit model, then you don't have a lot of the assets to track. But in most of the cases, if you would use a DWG, then this is where you are going to link your image reference to your model. So if you are going to use DWG or you are going to use a DXF to import your model, whether from Revit or from any other program, then you will need to work with this asset tracking and path, and from here you will be able to configure the path, and then your material will be able to show up directly without having to hassle so much to find them. So for me, because I've linked it, I'm just going to switch to a material tab, and I'm going to use pick material from the object. So each time when I pick one material, you'll see that it's already here. So I just have to click show it in the viewport, and there we are. So it's the same thing. You're going to use it over and over. So for instance, this light here, we have you see we have Autodesk solid glass. You see we have polished metal, which is chrome. I can change it to say aluminium, and okay, I can choose it polished. I can change instead of the custom image to cool, diamond, anything depending on the kind of the effect which you want yourself to achieve. And I can also work with the grass. I can enable it. I can enable pretty much anything, and also you can even change the character of the material very easily. For instance, here is just a porcelain, and maybe I want it to be more with more effects. I can just change from the Autodesk ceramic to I can design materials, and I can. This one, a good thing about I can design material, it comes with also comes handy with a lot of templates. I can choose say glazed ceramic tiles, and directly see that this has got already some effects from it, and I can change the size from materials slot, or I can easily just assign a map scaler. So this is a very important modifier. From it you can use it to scale. If for instance if you're working with corrugated iron sheet and stuff like that, you can change it with a map scaler, or you can also use the UVW map. And let me switch this off. Oh, I don't need to delete it. I can just a good thing about UVW map is that you can change with the different faces. For instance, if I enable the map scaler, you realize that the edges of the tiles is different. So if you're rendering a closer lookup, then I would suggest you better switch to UVW map, and then you can change it much better. But I don't want to use that. I don't want also even to use this one either. I can pretty much come here and change the tiling control, or the control here. It could be like as a Flemish bond or fine stack bond. I think this is one which result to a difference in something like that. Okay, I think this is okay for me, and I'm gonna leave it that way. Don't want to go too much details. Also, maybe you can also change even the glass. Say maybe I don't want Autodesk glazing glass, and just want I can design glass. You can choose maybe a physical glass, something like that, or a thin glass, depending on the kind of the effect you want to achieve. So let's try to render it and see what kind of the result we'll get. Now before I render it, bear in mind that I haven't changed I've just changed the floor and the glass, but most of the stuff, they are quite the same. Even within the roof, if you click a material, you'll still get the same material, and if I click it show up, then there we are. It's already there, and you can just assign the map scaler and play with the dimension, with the how big you want it to be. So yeah, so for now I'm gonna try to render it and to see the effect it's going to produce. So I think this is quite fine, and I'm gonna change the sky. I'm gonna assign it to a certain location. Let's say my city, and I'm gonna choose it, say 15 hours. It works much better when you render it in kind of like not in the middle of the day, because in the middle of the day then the sun is direct overhead in my case of the city, for instance, so you won't get a good render. So it will be too exposed, and you'll have to do a lot of settings to make that. So I think this is okay for me. I'm not gonna create any camera because this is just a test render, so I'll just render it directly. But first, because I don't want to take it a lot of time, I'm gonna switch to just a final gather, and I'm also going to expand the size of the output size, and also maybe change the quality of the render to, let's say, low. Okay. You'll see it's quite fast, and that's a good thing about mentoring. So if you are rendering, you just want to create a quick render for your client, or just for the show, if you want to see how the environment is going to be, then this, I think, definitely is the most it's one of the most easiest way to work or to switch between Revit and 3D Max. It's quite very easy, not that difficult, and you don't have to change a lot of stuff, because I can imagine if you would import it with a like, say, DWG format, then it would take quite a time for you to start assigning different materials. And okay, you can see now there is already a variation, the same variation of materials which I did in Revit. So yeah, I'm going to let it render up to the end. It's going to take maybe some few minutes, but I hope everyone has understood these steps, and thank you for watching, and I wish you happy rendering. Thanks.